Leicester Tigers and British and Irish Lions scrum-half Ben Youngs has 47 caps for England and should be expected to add to that number in his second Rugby World Cup. With about 11 weeks to go until the tournament starts, how's training been going?
It's been tough. We've been put for our paces without doubt. It's going to ramp up again this week. But look, there's a real competitive squad. Everyone's in a real good shape and good mood, and pushing each other, and that can be seen on the training pitch, in the weights room, etc. So everyone's in good spirits.
For those that don't play rugby at the highest level, perhaps they're looking to impress at regional coaching moments, or the opportunity to play in a particular team. Perhaps their chance in front of a coach might be relatively short. It might be an hour or two, and any drop ball or any missed pass is, feels like a devastation. For you guys, in terms of being in front of the coaches, what are the moments where you get to feel positive? What are the moments that maybe you feel negative?
I think we all experience the same. I did a skills session the other day. I must have dropped the ball about 4 times. So
you think that's it? I'm out of the squad.
Yeah, I thought, this is it. There's gonna be a taxi waiting outside, and I'm just going to be chucked in it, and off I go. Look, I think coaches are fully aware of what you're capable of and how you played in the season, etc. So it's about relaxing and trusting yourself to be able to make the right decisions, whether you're playing little decision-making games, whatever it may be. It's about going out there and trying things, because ultimately it doesn't so much matter too much what happens on the training pitch. It's about getting it right at the weekend. So don't be scared to try some bits and explore a little bit and see what might work well and see what won't, and you'll soon find out. But you'd rather do it during a training week than you would do come a Saturday afternoon.
Yes, good advice for many, I'm sure. 4 scrum halves in training at the moment, perhaps a 5th with Joe Simpson lurking on the sidelines. What's the atmosphere like between all of you guys?
Yeah, fine, to be honest with you. I think we just keep pushing each other. It's an understanding, collective understanding that it was only going to help each other if we really push each other. So whether that is fitness, whether that's in weights, whether that's in skills, it's about keeping on top of each other. But we've all got a good relationship, and that's throughout the squad. Lanny's created a tremendous culture, one that's very competitive, but in a good way. There's never any malice or anything like that. It's all very competitive, but in a very good way, and it brings out the best in a lot of people.
We spoke during the Six Nations about you being one of the senior players, the more experienced players at your tender mid-20s age. This 50-man squad has got just 10 players who featured in a Rugby World Cup before. What do you think that proposes as a challenge?
I think the fact that we've got a lot of youth, the fact that we've got a lot of guys that haven't played in it, is probably a good thing. They haven't experienced what some guys had to experience in 2011, which wasn't great. It's making sure that the guys that were there is understanding what went wrong and how can we help, and what would we learn as youngsters when we're similar to their age now, and it's all those bits, and bring that together. I think we'll be fine. The coaches are very good at making sure that everyone's level-headed and if anything, just get excited about the tournament. Really, I think that's the main thing. Get excited about it. It's going to be a bit of a pressure cooker, but at the same time we're very lucky. I think the biggest advantage of being at home at the World Cup is the fact that we can actually escape from it all, and we can go home and spend time with family and friends, etc. So I think that's the biggest advantage, and I think people will absolutely use that, and there's no reason why if we only had one person that played in the last World Cup, I don't think it would make a huge difference.
You've got a young family. There is a life outside rugby for you and for many of the players here. How important is this Rugby World Cup to you?
Oh, look, it's massively important, because it's always been there since we knew that it was coming to England. You want to be a part of that. So look, it's not, you don't suddenly wake up beginning of last season and go, it's World Cup time, I want to be in it. It's something that you think about for a long time. It's something that when you're on the summer tours, everything's been leading up to this. So it's a massive goal. It's a huge ambition for everyone to play in. For me personally, it's something that to play for your country is fantastic, but to play in a World Cup is brilliant. To play in a home World Cup, well, you know what I mean, you don't get that. So look, everyone's so excited about it, and there's no lack of motivation from anyone.
Well, Rugby have announced that they're looking at particular areas of the law a little more closely ahead of this Rugby World Cup. One of them is going to be the feeding area at the scrum. With the position of front rows these days, it's quite difficult for a hooker to get a full-on hook with the foot. So how much does that focus on the feed affect your preparation?
I think, to be honest, I sort of, you can't, there's so much pressure. It's not like the old days. There's so much pressure in the scrums. It's near enough impossible sometimes for the hooker to even get his leg up to hook it. So, the amount of times people say, "Oh, put it down the middle," but you put it down the middle, and the ball will sit there for 5 minutes. So it's about restarting the game. And look, you don't want to chuck it to 8 feet. Certainly, it needs to be some sort of strike. But I think that you also need to be realistic about it. And to be honest, it's about just restarting the game, getting the ball in and out. And for me personally, I think there's bigger issues in the game than putting the ball in between the middle of a scrum when there's so much pressure that both hookers can't even put their leg up anyway.